Hi, so this is a automation about how to handle general inquiries into any business's inbox. Now, general inquiry handling is probably one of the most common and probably likely to be the most popular type of AI assistance that businesses are going to be wanting to get involved with in the coming months and as the years go by, and AI becomes more and more of a thing that people decide that they want to get involved in. This particular example here, I've set up for a music studio who teaches music, all different types of lessons. And it's the second in the series, with the first way of handling general inquiries coming from a form that somebody fills in on a website or in a social media post. Now, that could be a type form or a Google form. But this one looks at an inbox and it assesses what is a prospect inquiry from a lot of the sales and junk email that businesses get in. It can save a lot of time and more importantly, stop businesses from missing important prospect inquiries and starting that whole lead funnel conversion to customer process. So as you can see here, there's only a couple of modules. There's a few basic utility modules in here, and I'll go through each one step by step. The first one, as you can see, is just watching for inquiries. Now, this just looks and sorts them out, but it's really the GPT, custom GPT, which is the second module, which does the heavy lifting. Now, you can just use a normal ChatGPT module and create a prompt that specifies 2 or 3 things that you want to look out for and some information about your business that you want the GPT to be aware of when interpreting the email that comes in. However, I find that using custom GPT assistant is much more efficient for handling this situation. That's a little bit more advanced, but it's not too difficult to do, and you can even use ChatGPT to help you build that particular assistant. Now, the reason why I like the assistant is within the instructions that you give it, you can cover a lot of ground in terms of the way the business is made up. You can include information about the price of products, the type of services, where you're located, key people that you might want to talk to. So all the kinds of things that you'd expect that any general inquiry would want answering. And the fact is that 80 to 90% of inquiries of that nature, they all ask the same sort of questions. But of course, the other great thing, and I've already done quite a bit of testing on this particular version, is even if you give the GPT some left field questions that have nothing to do with the way that the business is, like, do you offer driving tests? Can you make sandwiches? Stuff like that. It handles it in a very professional way, and sometimes with a bit of humor as well, which is really good. So I would advise in this sort of situation to invest the time in creating a GPT assistant through OpenAI's platform. The third module, is the markdown to HTML. And the reason for this is the final email I just want to be laid out nicely. And there's different ways that you can do this, but that's just a utility module there. There's a sleep module there to just sort of spread it out a bit, and so it's not making too many API calls. And then extract inquirer name. This is just so that we can nicely address the email as well. So, of course, a lot of emails that people use don't have the person's name within the sent email address. They can be numbers, it can be business addresses, and don't give that away. And so we want to try and extract that so we can put it in the subject. And I'll show you the subject line of the sending email. And what you can see here is I've just set up a user assistant. Your helpful and intelligent email data extraction assistant. Extract the first name or the preferred title. And there's some other things you can do there. Someone might address themselves as Dr. or Mr. or Mrs. or not give a name at all. And so you just need to cater for each of those possibilities. But ultimately the aim here is to be able to find a name that we can address the sent email with. And I'm only using GPT 3.5 here because it's a fairly simple task. And then after a sleep module, and the reason for that is you probably or possibly want to consider delaying the time before you send this email. If someone's made an inquiry, and maybe leave it 10-15 minutes until they get a response, so it's not in 10 seconds, so there's the person can appreciate that it's probably an AI bot of some sort. If you leave it a little bit more time, it feels a bit more authentic, but it's entirely up to you. But the crucial thing here is a lot of business leads are kept warm by responding to them quickly and efficiently. if something can take days or even weeks in some situations, that's not a very satisfactory service for anyone making an inquiry about a particular product or service. So one of the great reasons for having this kind of automation is, from a business owner's perspective, you can be confident and sure that anything coming in is being responded to really quickly. You can always see those responses, and obviously through a testing period, you want to gain trust that the AI is answering it in the tone and the type of ways that you're going to be happy with in terms of representing your business. But once you're happy and you begin to trust it, you can just let it go on your own. Obviously, you check in the inbox just to see who's come in, and there's obviously other automations that you can help onboard that prospect into your own sort of business from a prospect into a customer, but that's not for this automation. But finally, the last module is, of course, the send to the prospect. You've got the email address, which is extracted from the first module here. And then in the subject line, as I mentioned, extracting the name, here's your inquiry, and then the HTML format, which is returned through the Markdown module there, which then gets sent off. So I've already run this, but I'm going to show you the response here. Actually, let's run it now. In that case, let's just see if we can get a new response. So that's running now. The custom assistant is now reading that email and formulating an appropriate response given the questions that the person has asked. I'm going to have a look at that in a minute. Well, let's have a look at see what the questions are. So here's the sender's name. Can you see here? I'll just move myself out of the way. It's blocking it. Okay, so hi there. I heard about your studio from a friend of a friend. My 14-year-old daughter Jamie wants to learn drums. Going to Nirvana, Foo Fighters these days, and Grey Goal is a bit of an inspiration. What's the process? How much are the lessons? Can we try them out for free, and where are you located? Sort of questions that this sort of business might be asked on a regular basis. And then at the end there, I'm speaking to a couple of other tutors. Can you give us a quick response? And people often want immediate sort of response, or as soon as possible, as we've already mentioned. So that's already gone through. I'm going to go now over to my email inbox. That's a previous one. See what we got here. Okay, so here's the inquiry. Hi, Simon. That was me who made the response. And you can see here it's nicely laid out. And does it answer all the questions? So quickly saying here that they'll follow up within 24 hours, which is nice to know. References the daughter's name, Jamie, and even Dave Grohl. So it's right nice in that respect. Here we offer one-to-one tuition. As for our first lesson, we offer discounted trial lessons instead of a free one, as that question was asked. 30 minutes for 10 and a 1 hour for 20. So all the information is in there, including what regular lessons and prices are. It even gives the studio address, which of course you want to know, and a handy map, of course, to help navigate there. Some information there about how to reach out. Obviously, you'll just be able to respond to this email. There's also a phone number there, but I've just covered that up for now. You might put that, but there you go. That's a nicely laid out response there from this custom automation. I run a company called Absci, which is Automated Business Solutions AI. We do these kinds of automations among many others. If you're interested, just drop me a DM and we'll have a chat. And look out for the other automation videos I'll be making over the coming days or weeks.